You are running a supply chain department in the middle of a massive corporate restructure, and you are entirely, predictably exhausted. Your inbox is a war zone, your direct reports are panicking, and every morning feels like bracing for impact. You're trying to maintain order across thousands of moving parts. Looking at the physical reality of global logistics, the sheer tonnage of cargo, the vastness of the ports, the endless grid of containers, the stress makes sense. You are trying to control a system of massive proportions. But the physical workload alone doesn't account for the drain. The exhaustion comes from the constant, grinding friction of trying to fight the organizational shifts happening above and around you. That burnout is a symptom. Your reflexive need to stay rigid and defensive while the company turns upside down is what's actually causing the damage. When a company reorganizes, the standard leadership instinct is to dig in. You brace yourself. You fiercely protect your headcount, guard your budget, and defend your territory at all costs. You act like a rock in a river. Watch what happens to a static point in a shifting system. By defending specific borders, you become a bottleneck. You create friction. The rest of the organization has to expend energy just to route their workflows around your defenses. The corporate current will eventually win. The workflow paths become permanent, the water routes around you completely, and you are left isolated or simply eroded away by the constant pressure. Relying on those old command and control instincts during a reorg is a terminal strategy. To survive the transition and actually advance through it, you have to change how you respond to chaos. For a strategic framework on navigating this exact kind of turbulence, we can look back 2,000 years to Chapter 8 of the Tao Te Ching. This text serves as a manual for operating in complex, shifting environments, studied by strategists for centuries. The chapter opens with a clear thesis. The highest good is like water. Water excels at benefiting everything it touches without ever competing. Think about the rigid director wasting energy fighting turf wars over who controls procurement. An adaptable leader ignores the turf war entirely. They flow directly into the operational gaps and focus on fixing the broken procurement process itself. By adopting the properties of water, you stop being a localized roadblock. You become a system-wide asset. Your position becomes secure because you are genuinely useful to the entire operation. The text explains exactly where water finds its power. It states that water dwells in places the masses detest. The ancient scholar Wang Bi provided commentary on this line, noting that human nature instinctively recoils from low, humble positions. People naturally avoid the bottom. In a modern corporate setting, most executives fiercely compete for high-visibility projects and glamorous strategic committees. Meanwhile, they abandon the messy, unglamorous operational disasters, the supply chain backlogs, the legacy software migrations, the broken vendor relationships. Flowing into those neglected messes provides a distinct advantage. By taking ownership of the low ground that everyone else avoids, you quietly monopolize the most critical operational bottlenecks. Solving the company's deepest headaches makes you structurally indispensable. Taking on these neglected problems removes you from the crossfire of office politics. No one fights you for the privilege of fixing a broken warehouse routing system. The Tao Te Ching observes that because water does not compete, it avoids all blame and resentment. You step the ego battles entirely. Dropping the ego to volunteer for the dirty work actually accelerates a rise in power and influence. Supply chain operations are inherently gray. The physical reality of moving goods through a crowded warehouse is unglamorous and full of friction. True corporate immunity comes from embracing that reality. You build vital connective tissue that the newly reorganized company relies on to function. Over time, the relentless flow of the river always grinds the rigid rock into sand. Adaptability outlasts rigidity. You can navigate a massive restructuring without the crushing exhaustion by no longer absorbing the impact of every shifting priority. This strategy utilizes active, deliberate utility to benefit the organization while quietly securing your own advancement. Abandon the defensive posture. Stop letting the transition grind you down. Become the water that reshapes the whole company. Flow, adapt,